We're here this afternoon to take a look at the dwelling, which is the original Lockmaster's dwelling, located here at Lock and Dam 10 in Guttenberg, which is the structure located behind me. When the lock was built back in the 30s, early to mid-1930s, at each lock and dam there were two dwellings like this built. The purpose of the dwellings were for occupancy by the lockmaster and the assistant lockmaster. Matter of fact, they were required to live in the dwellings. Each lock and dam between Minneapolis and Guttenberg each had two houses built on the esplanade. Well, back in those days, the communication systems and the transportation systems, cars, so forth, were not nearly as good as they are today. By 1972, the requirement for mandatory occupancy as a part of the job requirement was no longer needed, and the lockmasters and assistant lockmasters were free to leave the dwelling, move out, buy their own homes, and so forth, or they could continue to reside in the dwellings. Many of them continued to stay for a while. Since 1972, all of the dwellings in the St. Paul district have now become vacant. All of them have been moved off the site and disposed of. We've gone through a standard real estate process where we offer them to the public. The highest bidder gets the house, and they're moved off the site. All of the structures at all the other locks have been moved. This is the only remaining structure left in the St. Paul district. A number of the houses that have been moved off, unfortunately, have seen some poor times. The two houses from Lock and Dam 5A are located up along the highway near Galesville, Wisconsin. They are really in tough shape. The paint is peeling. They're very dilapidated. There's one in Trempealeau that has been totally renovated. Very nice, totally modernistic and really fancy. I guess the historians would probably say that's not in keeping with historic preservation. The other house from Trempealeau is really dilapidated, and it's kind of a shame to see those things happening. The Corps of Engineers is interested in historic preservation. We're here to work with the city to see if we can come up with a plan that would help preserve this house for the rich history of the Lock and the Guttenberg area. This dwelling here was vacated last fall when the present lockmaster, Marv Pedretti, moved out of the dwelling and bought a home here locally in Guttenberg. Let's take a little tour of the dwelling. Marv, come on over here. Tell us a little bit about the dwelling.
Hi, Dennis. Well, I lived in this dwelling for 22 years and raised 3 children there, and we all enjoyed living here. It's a dwelling with 3 bedrooms, nice living room, bath and 3/4, very nice view. We really enjoyed it here, and we really hated to move out of the house, but getting close to retirement, we thought it was time to find a home here in Guttenberg before we moved and had to find a home at the same time.
Marv, show us the house.
Okay, I'd like to take you on a little tour of the dwelling. Stairway upstairs. This is the stairway upstairs here. This is the living room, a nice sized living room. This is the door onto the porch. Enjoyed many hours out here on this porch. Good sized porch, screened in porch. This is the porch area which we've spent many hours in out here. Very nice view.
Also a beautiful view of the lock and the lockages there, Marv, and the towboat in progress.
This is the dining area here, a little corner cabinet that was built by, bought and purchased by myself and put in here. We left it here. Small dining room.
Marv, the wood floors are really beautiful.
They were refinished before we moved in, and they're just like they were. This is the kitchen area. We have a nice north view of the river. The cabinets, the doors have been changed a little, otherwise it's back to almost the original conditions. It does have a carpeted floor, it has an oak floor underneath. We do have a small pantry over here where we store a lot of our groceries and stuff like that. And of course the refrigerator goes over here. And now I'd like to take you on a little tour of the second floor. the master bedroom. Got two small closets. There's a his and a hers. You better not have very many clothes hanging out. We had some spare places around. You notice the old-fashioned type radiators. It's a good-sized bedroom. Hardwood floors.
Marv, you kept this place immaculate.
Well, it was that way when we moved in.
This is one of the smaller bedrooms upstairs. Again, in excellent condition.
This is the third bedroom. Small bedroom, and it's got a small closet, as you can see. Hardwood floors. Again, very nice view from this bed. This is a small upstairs bathroom. It has the original stool and bathtub in it.
Behind the bathroom is a small storage area or sewing room.
This is our upstairs hallway. Of course, in the hallway here, means it's a government dwelling. We have the fire extinguisher right here in the hallway. Now I'd like to take you on a tour of the downstairs, the basement. Here we are on the lower floor. This little room here is kind of a cold storage area where we kept some of our canned goods and stuff like that. This area right behind me here is where I kept my guns and clothes and stuff like that. Over in this area here we had our television, game room, and so on. This has a cement floor. This is kind of an old carpet that's been left here. Around here, right behind me here, is a bathroom, a 3/4 bath, and the wash and dryer go over here, washing tub, and you kind of see the furnace and the hot water heater. And you'll probably notice the walls, they have insulation on the walls with paneling on it. And if you wanted to bring it back to existing condition, that could be removed. We're at the back door of the dwelling here, the door that we use most of the time is closest to the garage. I'd like to have you take a view from the back door here on up the river. One of the most beautiful views in the city of Guttenberg.
That is a beautiful view, Marv. This concludes our tour of the dwelling. As you can see, the dwelling is maintained in much of the original condition. Many of the original trim and woodwork and everything is original. We're sure hoping we can come up with some kind of a plan to preserve this piece of history, which is part of the Lock and Dam 10 and Guttenberg area. At Lock and Dam 10, we've begun a major maintenance program. All of the structures on the Mississippi River have reached their design life of 50 years, so the St. Paul District has initiated a major maintenance, major rehabilitation program. We've installed new lock and dam operating machinery at locks 2, 3, 4, and 5 this past winter. As many of you know locally here, we completed a major dewatering and structural repair of the lock. This lock was difficult to dewater because of seepage. Through a series of extensive deep wells, we were able to dewater the lock and repair. There were some extensive voids under the floor. In the future, new lock operating machinery will be installed here, as well as a new control building. The original control building we see ahead of us here will be replaced with a new building. The new building will be located more towards the upstream end of the lock. The approximate limits go from this brown can over to where Carol is standing by the fence there. This will all be the new control building area. Over there to where John is standing against the fence. And continuing on over to where Marv is standing. Those are the corner posts of the new building. The new control building will be quite close to the dwelling. Now let's take a little historic interlude into the past when the Lock and Dam was built and when the house was brand new. This view shows the dam under construction, before the dwellings and the control station were even constructed. Let's look at some historical photos of the dwelling. Here we see the kitchen in 1938 when the house was completed. Here we see the two original dwellings, evidently fairly close after completion of construction. The house in the foreground was the original Lockmaster's dwelling, which was sold and moved off from the site in the mid-1970s. The house in the background and the garage are the two buildings remaining. Here we have a view of the master bedroom, originally as it appeared with 1938 furniture. Here we see the living room area, looking toward the window facing out onto the lock. A 1938 dining room. The caption on this photo is furnished bedroom. It looks like a strange bed there. Here we have a shot of the original basement. This shows the difference from the one when we took a look at the dwelling as it appears today with the paneling. However, the basement could be put back to this original type condition without a lot of work. Here we have the sewing room upstairs next to the bathroom, with a 1938 sewing machine there. Here we have the master bedroom. Remember Marv pointed out the two closets? There they are. Look at the shine on the hardwood floors, and note particularly the original ceiling fixture. Here we have the front entry as it appeared in 1938. Very similar to the original. Here we have a shot of the bathroom. The toilet, tub, and wash bowl are all original as they still appear today in the dwelling. Here's how both houses and the garage appeared on February 14th, 1938. Here's a rear view of the completed dwelling, the one that's currently left on the esplanade. We hope you've enjoyed this brief historic tour of 1938 when the dwelling was brand new.